All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to crack the code on what is probably the single most important first step in making sense of any data, whether it's your Netflix queue or global market trends.
Okay, get this. Every single day, all of us together, we create an almost unimaginable flood of data. We're talking 2.5 quintillion bytes. That number is so huge, it's a 25 with 17 zeros after it. And it's not slowing down, right? It's growing every single second, fueled by everything from the GPS in our cars to the photos we post online.
So where's all this data coming from? Well, look in the mirror. It's coming from you, from us, every single moment. You know, the movies Netflix thinks you'll love, the posts you smash that like button on, the health stats your smartwatch is tracking, even your weekly grocery shopping. It all feeds this massive, constantly growing universe of information. Which leads us to the big kind of overwhelming question, right? When you're faced with this digital avalanche, how in the world do we even begin to make sense of it all? How do you find the important stuff, the signals buried in all that noise?
All right, so let's break it down. The very first thing data scientists do to bring some order to that chaos is they split everything into two main categories. Think of them as two completely different worlds of data. So on one side, you've got qualitative data. This is the story data. It's all about descriptions, qualities, the characteristics of things. It answers the what and the why. Then on the other side, you have quantitative data. This is the numbers data. It's all about counting and measuring. It's the how many and how much. So to put it super simply, one describes, the other measures. That's the fundamental split. Okay, so let's jump into that first world, the world of descriptions and context. This is the home of qualitative data.
So what is it exactly? Well, the core idea is pretty straightforward. Qualitative data is anything you can observe with your senses and describe, but you can't really pin a number on it. It's the data of categories, of context, of the why behind the numbers.
Think about it like this. You're scrolling through Netflix, right? The genres, comedy, drama, sci-fi, those are qualitative categories. Or, when you read a customer review that just says, loved it, or so disappointed, that's pure qualitative data. Even something as simple as the weather being sunny or rainy. You can't put a number on sunny, but it's incredibly valuable information.
But it gets a little more interesting, because even this descriptive world has its own subdivisions. First up, you have what's called nominal data. These are categories that don't have any particular order. Things like gender, marital status, or different countries, there's no better or worse, they're just different buckets. Then you have ordinal data. And here, the order absolutely matters. Think about a customer satisfaction rating. Poor, good, excellent. See, there's a clear, meaningful sequence.
Okay, so we've got the world of descriptions down. Now let's hop over to the other side of the tracks. We're leaving context behind and diving headfirst into the world of hard numbers and objective measurements. Welcome to quantitative data. And honestly, this world can feel a bit more black and white. The rule of thumb is simple. If you can count it, or if you can measure it, it's quantitative. We're talking about objective numbers, plain and simple.
And you see this stuff everywhere all day long. The sales figures for a new product? Quantitative. The number of students in a classroom? Yep, quantitative. Your own height or weight, the temperature outside, all of these are captured with a specific, measurable number.
And you guessed it, just like its qualitative counterpart, quantitative data also splits into two key types. The first one is called discrete data. The best way to think about this is individual, countable items. They can only ever be specific whole values.
A perfect example is the number of students in a class. You can have 25 students, you can have 26 students, but there's no way you can have 25.5 students, right? They are whole, countable units. You can't break them down into smaller pieces.
And this second type is what we call continuous data. Now, if discrete data is counted, continuous data is measured. It can take on basically any value within a given range, with like an infinite number of possibilities in between.
A person's weight is a fantastic example of this. You could weigh 70.5 kilograms, or 70.51, or 70.512. You could keep adding decimal points forever, depending on how precise your scale is. The possibilities are infinite. The same goes for temperature or the length of an object. You're measuring it on a scale, not just counting individual things.
Okay, so we've got these two very different worlds of data, right? The descriptive, qualitative world and the measured, quantitative world. But here's the most important part, the real takeaway. While they're different, the real magic, the truly deep insights, only happen when you bring them together.
And you know what? There's a classic, almost legendary story from the world of data analytics that shows this perfectly. It's a story that involves Walmart, a hurricane, and, surprisingly, strawberry Pop-Tarts.
So here's what went down. Walmart's analysts were looking at the numbers, the quantitative data, and they saw something weird. Sales of strawberry Pop-Tarts had shot up by 7 times. Now, by itself, that's just a strange fact, right? Who cares? But when they layered on the qualitative data, the context, which was that a hurricane was on its way, suddenly everything made sense. They had uncovered this hidden pattern. Before a big storm hits, people go out and stock up on easy, non-perishable comfort food. That single insight, born from combining both types of data, allowed them to start predictively stocking their shelves before hurricanes, which was a huge deal for helping their community. And this right here, this slide, is basically your ultimate cheat sheet. It puts everything we've just talked about in one place. You can see our 2 main worlds, qualitative and quantitative, and how each one breaks down into its own subtypes, nominal and ordinal, discrete and continuous, all with a simple definition and a super clear example. Definitely a good one to remember.
Because at the end of the day, all this sorting and categorizing, it's all for one big reason. It's like this quote says, it's all about surfacing the hidden insights that can help companies to make smart business decisions. It's about finding the real story that's hiding inside all that raw information. So think about that the next time you're scrolling through reviews, or checking your fitness app, or just looking at the weather forecast. You are literally swimming in both of these data worlds every single day. They are all around you. So the real question is, what amazing stories are they just waiting to tell?